Yoel, dear friends of Gilad Shalit, dear friends of Israel and the Jewish people, I bring a message on behalf of thousands of Christians throughout Europe. The European Coalition for Israel is a Christian initiative established in 2004 by a number of Christian organizations, including Christians for Israel, Ebenezer, Operation Exodus, and Word of Life Ministries. And we're trying to raise a voice, a Christian voice in Europe on behalf of Israel and the Jewish people. Our goal is to urge the nations of Europe, in Brussels and in the member states, to make sure that the errors of the past, in which the church has borne so much responsibility for the suffering of the Jewish people, will never happen again. Our motto is learning from history. We have tried since 2006 to intervene for Gilad. We have tried to speak to the Red Cross. We have delivered a petition signed by 30,000 people, all to no avail. Still, Gilad is being held by the Hamas. And I want to tell you, as a Christian living in Europe, I am ashamed, deeply ashamed, that we have to meet here today and that we have to plead to the nations of Europe and the international community to take action on behalf of Gilad Shalit. The fact that we are standing here today is a shame and is a deep stain on the conscience of the nations of this world. We have failed you, Gilad. We have failed you, Yoel. We have failed you, the Jewish people. Let us make no mistake. As long as Gilad Shalit is in captivity, Israel, Europe, and the nations of this world are in captivity. As long as Gilad is not free, Israel, Europe, and the nations of the world are not free. As long as Gilad's life is at risk, our lives are at risk. This, my friends, is no rhetoric. This is the deep reality of what is happening today in the Middle East. If we ignore it, we will not understand what is going on, and we will wake up from our dreams too late to discover we have given away the thing that is most important to us: freedom. Gilad's freedom is Israel's freedom. Israel's freedom is our freedom. And freedom, as you know better than I, must be paid with a price. Our freedom to stand here today we owe to the millions who died in the wars of the 20th century. We owe it to the millions of Jews who died on European soil. There comes a point in the life of every person and of every nation when we have to ask ourselves, why are we here? Where did we come from? And where are we going? And today, I believe the nations of this Europe and of the international community must answer that question. It is decision time for the nations. Do we choose freedom or do we choose captivity? Do we choose blessing or do we choose curse? Do we choose life or do we choose death? Are we going to free Gilad Shalit, or are we going to allow the enemies of freedom to have their way? Freedom, my friends, is not an absolute good. Those of you who come from Israel know this only too well. In fact, freedom is only valuable if it allows us to celebrate life. In fact, it is only of value if it allows us to celebrate and to worship the author of life, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Let me be clear. Israel and the Jewish people do not exist by the grace of the United Nations. They do not exist by the grace of Europe. They do not exist, my friends, because you or I thought it was a good idea that the Jews should be back in the land. They exist because the God who created this world decided that he wanted them to be there. If we, the nations of this world, do not accept his choices, we will be destined for tyranny and captivity. If, on the other hand, we respect his choices, we will be ensured of peace and prosperity. It is as simple as that. It is true for you and me as individuals, and it is true for the nations of which we are a part. My friends, it was the prophet Zechariah who said millennia ago that those who touch Israel touch the apple of God's eye. The election of Israel is not a popular concept in a world where everyone is equal, where the opinion of the lowest common denominator governs, and the criteria for making the great decisions of public policy are expediency and the avoidance of pain. But God did not choose the Jews because they are perfect. He did not choose the Jews because they are so numerous. He did not choose the Jews because they are so clever. He did not choose Gilad Shalit to live in Israel as a Jew because he is such a great guy, which I believe he is. No, he chose them because he decided to do so in his infinite wisdom. Peace, the nations cry, peace, international law. My friends, what kind of peace are we talking about? What kind of law? On behalf of thousands of Christians across Europe, I call upon the leaders of the nations of this world. I call upon the United Nations. I call upon the Red Cross. I call upon all national leaders, in fact, upon all people who believe in freedom, whether they be Muslims, Christians, Jews, Hindus, Buddhists, atheists, or whatever race or religion, to take action today to ensure the release of Gilad Shalit and guarantee the eternal right of the Jewish people to live in freedom and safety in the land God has given them for an everlasting possession. And I turn to you, Yoel, if I could invite you, please. I want to give you a small gift. This is a plant, a delicate plant. You will see there are some flowers, but many are still in bud. This plant is a symbol of the Jewish people. It is a symbol of the nation of Israel. My dear Yoel, God is with you. He is planting you in the land, and he will bring you to full flower. It is not easy. You are vulnerable, like these flowers. But I urge you to be patient, and I urge you, the people, the Jewish people, to be patient, have faith, and your God will complete the work that he has begun. Be assured that despite what you read in the media, there are many people in Europe and throughout the world who are praying for you, for Gilad, for you, Yoel, for your family, and for the Jewish people. Your fight is our fight. Your God is our God. Where you go, we will go. Where you die, we will die. Thank you.